Hi, everybody. Thank you for getting on tonight. I really appreciate it. As you know, if you know me, I don't really come to all the parents directly very often with any kind of vendor or anything to that extent to discuss with you. But this particular one, I think, is extremely important for you to hear about. And so I had a meeting probably about 30 days ago with a gentleman who I'm going to introduce to you in a minute, who brought his company to me through one of our former players. And as I listened to, what he does and what it's all about, I was hooked within 15 minutes because I deal with so many of your players and so many of you directly that I'm pretty well aware of a lot of your needs. And so he's going to tell you a little bit about his program today and answer any questions you may have. But let me tell you what I loved about it. So when you get to the EYBL level with the Nike teams, we have a lot of players because of the pressure who start to deal with some, concerns about anxiety playing in front of college coaches or, just tensing up in a game, not performing well, performance anxiety. And so always been a big issue for me. In fact, we have explored some venues about bringing some speakers in to help them with that. And so I've actually had phone calls too from several of you to find out, what do we do if our daughter is in a situation? How can we help them? The thing that I loved about part two, what Michael's going to tell you about his company, so he's going to address that today, which I think is a big issue for any kind of athletes that play at this level. But part two, what I love about this, and even myself included as a coach, is that he has another part of this that is also medical. So I don't want to tell too much about this, but I can tell you this, that for me being on the road and having to, if anything happens where I get sick or ill or cold, it's extremely difficult for me to get in touch with my doctor. So this is going to be definitely purchased by me as a supplement, to get a hold of my doctor, to get a Zoom call going so I can get any kind of medicines. And so this will definitely be, in fact, it is on my apps already to use as a tool that I'll use in addition to what I currently have. But for you, I found the second resource going to be really great because we have players who might have a slight injury or might get sick on the road. And rather than have to find an emergency clinic or get to a hospital, it might be something that you might be able to talk to your doctor about, get a quick prescription for, or at least get some advice. Is this something we need to go do something about? And so I think for you as a supplement, it may also be really important. And then he's going to tell you a little bit about also those who are in between maybe work and need this as their primary. So thank you tonight for getting on because I think this is really important. I wouldn't bring it to you if I did not. I think you're going to love this as much as I loved it. And please know that you will deal directly with Michael for any of your subscriptions with this. This is nothing that we are going through our program and making any kind of funds on. That's not the issue. We want to make sure our kids are taken care of and that they have the best resources they can to play at the level that they do. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Michael from Holistic Athlete Health Solution. Who's going to give you a rundown on everything that I am absolutely in love with, and I'm sure you're going to be thrilled with also.
Thanks, Aggie. Thanks so much for having me today. My name is Michael. I'm the CEO of the Holistic Athlete Health Solution, or HAHS. And HAHS is a digital health app designed by athletes for athletes. And one thing we know is that, athletes like yours sacrifice so much to be successful in sport. Their time, they're foregoing fun to really pursue their dreams. But we also know parents like me and parents like you make an incredible sacrifice. You're sacrificing money and time and emotional energy to make sure that your kids are successful. At the end of the day, you want your kids to be happy, healthy, and safe. But today, if your child has a problem, say they're struggling with mental health, or they have performance anxiety, you have to search to find a therapist, one that's accepting new patients, one that's accepting your insurance. And, you likely have to wait 45 plus days to even get seen. And if your kid has a problem, that needs to be solved now. You can't wait a month or two to get seen. And if you're sick, and you have something like an upper respiratory infection, you have to go and find an urgent care and travel to a facility and sit around a bunch of sick people and potentially miss out on that tournament that you traveled to go see. just to sit around, for 2 hours to get the prescription that you knew you needed from the get-go. So imagine a world where you can access high quality doctors in less than 10 minutes and see that same provider every single time to really build that relationship and that continuity of care. That's exactly what we have built with the Holistic Athlete Health Solution and why we exist. HAHS gives you the ability to connect with the mental health and physical health experts that you need virtually 24/7, 365. And who is behind HAHS? Who's actually doing this? Our chief medical officer is Dr. James Borchers. He's the chief medical officer of the Big Ten, and he's the first chief medical officer of a Power Five conference. He's accompanied by over 1,800 doctors and licensed mental health professionals across the country with an average of 17 years experience, which means that no matter where you are, you can be seen by a high quality doctor in less than 10 minutes. So HAHS really gives you that real-time access to medical experts for issues big and small. And so think about the last time you were traveling to a tournament. Maybe it wasn't your athlete who got sick, but it was you or another member of the family, a sibling that was traveling. The beauty of HAHS is that for one low subscription, it covers the entire family. You, your daughter, your son, the siblings, your wife, your spouse, your husband, everybody is covered for one annual subscription. And it's super easy to use. You just download the app, you select the service that you need. You can actually choose a doctor based on background and specialty. You go through a triage process to make sure that you get the right care that you need, and you can have a visit within 10 minutes. And so really we think about it as 3 stages: pre-competition, competition, and post-competition. And we provide support for each phase. We know mental health is a huge issue for our kids. And, whether they have pre-competition anxiety, post-competition stress because maybe they didn't perform well, we have resources to help your athletes deal with that pressure of sport and of life and provide them a private, secure way to get access to clinical talk therapy wherever, whenever. Say they miss that big shot at the end of the game and you're on the way home, they're struggling, right? Your mom and dad, you want to be there, you want to do something for them, but oftentimes they shun that, right? So what can you do? With HAHS, we give you peace of mind that you have a health and safety companion with you at all times. And HAHS also comes with best-in-class education. Everything from nutrition, sleep, mental health first aid, tools for parents and coaches. We want to provide you with assets that you can be prepared and make informed decisions, but also understand early warning signs so that you can ensure that your kids are happy, healthy, and safe, but also that they're performing at their peak levels. We have over 170 expert-led courses to help you make informed decisions and stay prepared to perform at your best. And all of this is included for an all-inclusive price. And that means that you get all of this for $99 per year. That's about $8 per month. There's no hidden fees, there's no deductibles, there's no insurance, just transparent care the way it should be. And this slide really puts that into perspective. So even if you have insurance, and almost 100% of our users have insurance, the HAHS costs less than the cost of a single urgent care visit, meaning what you would pay out of pocket to sit amongst a bunch of sick people, waste 2 hours of your time and pay hundreds of dollars. So for one annual rate, you can use HAHS and access the care you need when you need it for just $99. Get unlimited mental health and physical care for your entire family. And so how do you access it? You visit haas.info. And I kind of chuckle here because when I type that into my computer, it auto corrects me to haha.info. And so you got to be careful, HAHS.info. And there you'll see instructions, try HAHS today. You'll put in your information and put your credit card in, and you'll have immediate access for you and your family. Any questions at all? I'll put this in an email response as well, but solutions at HAHS HAHS.info, solutions@haas.info.
Michael, that's awesome. So let me also say, Michael, because I think this is really important, and you brought up the performance anxiety and maybe anxiety in general, period, or any mental health issues some of the players may have. What I think is really important about this is that a lot of times we're getting ready to go perform in a Nike circuit tournament, and our players might not feel their anxiety till the day before. And so sometimes they're calling in like, who can I reach out to? What can I do? And trying to get an appointment before they get on an airplane or drive, the very next day. So I think what's great about this is that they can, before they get on the court, be prepared by the next day by getting onto your service, having the app, make an appointment with someone through mental health, be able to talk about their anxieties. If there's players who need medication because they're already on medication, that's certainly a different conversation too. But the fact that they can talk it through their anxiety rather than, trying to make an appointment and try to get one within the next day with a local provider or somebody that they normally see here, it's almost impossible. And so they're going to end up carrying that through with them. So I think it's really important that this short timeline to be able to deal with those kind of mental health issues prior to, getting into a tournament. And really, honestly, too, the closer they have these, discussions with their mental health provider to the tournament, it actually is better for them and can give them tools right then and there than maybe even the week before. And then they start to get anxiety again and it's all over again. So I think that's really important for our athletes to know.
So unlike other services where it's just like you talk to somebody and, oh, hopefully that fixes it. With HAHS, especially with our mental health service, you're actually building a relationship. So that first interaction is really a triage, get to know you visit, and you come up with a plan of care. And that might include some work outside of the visits, but you're also scheduling future visits. So while it is available on demand 24/7, you can schedule a visit, an appointment, or you can chat. You're actually, once you establish that connection and you like that provider, you like the relationship and the plan they're giving you, it's a continued relationship. So it's not just a one and done. Mental health really requires an ongoing conversation and kind of work to get through whatever you're dealing with. So that's kind of the power of this, is that continuum of care, that continuous relationship between, your kids and the providers.
Yeah, no, I like that. But I also like the added advantage that they can call, when it spikes for them. They're in the middle of a tournament or they're right before a tournament, they're getting on an airplane. Sometimes that's when the anxiety is going to spike higher. I don't think people understand when we go to these events, they're exhausting and we run all day long. From the minute they start, you play a game at 10 o'clock, then the next one is at 2 o'clock. You're not done till 3:30. You got to get back on a bus, a car, whatever, get back to the hotel, get food, and then kind of settle in. And then they may even have a team meeting. So there's no downtime. By the time you get done, you need 2 days off to just rest. Parents, I'm sure. And so this tool for those situations, I think, is critical to have. To me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, we hear that all the time. I'm 600 miles away from my hometown. I get sick, or my kid gets sick, or somebody traveling with me gets sick, or their thumb bent back in a weird way. What do we do? Where do we go? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is either you go to the emergency room or you go to the urgent care, and you're spending a ton of money out of pocket, and it's completely inconvenient. It wastes the weekend that you're actually there to compete and try and play the sport that you came to do. And oftentimes there's recruiters there, so the added pressure of that and missing out on that, it's just a compounding effect that that's really why we built this thing for athletes and for families to mitigate that situation. Convenience
Just
and
trying to find one. It's one thing when you're home, you know where the prime care is, right? But when you're away, you're in the city of Chicago, which we get, trying to find where is one? How do I get there? Having to take an Uber, however you gotta do it. Just getting there and finding them is even enough of a stress, frankly.
are so passionate about this and you're so practical about it.
To me, this is for less than $100 a year. It's a no-brainer to at least try, see if you use it, see if it helps, and I think they'll find that it will.
I totally agree, Aggie. I hope your members will see value in this too. If you have any questions at all, please go to HAHS.info. That's the website. That's where you can sign up and learn more information. Or if you want to reach out and connect with me directly, please email me at solutions at HAHS.info. Really excited to work with you guys. Thanks so much for your time today. We'll talk soon.